This program is paid for by The Crossover with Marlon and Armon. Subscribe to their show-owned content at youtube.com/@thecrossover1060.
You're now tuned in to The Crossover with Marlon Jones and Armon Williams.
Hold up, you're teaming up a Sun Devil and a Wildcat? Who came up with that brilliant idea?
The Crossover on KDUS AM 1060.
All right, welcome to The Crossover with Marlon and Armon, KDUS 1060. My name is Armon, but I go by The Hammer. My partner over here is Marlon Jones. He goes by Big Showtime. If you're listening to us live, please do us a solid and go to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page and subscribe. And you can follow us at The Crossover 1060. Once again, that's at The Crossover 1060, so it's youtube.com/@ that little funny squiggly sign, The Crossover 1060. The same thing on Facebook, facebook.com/@ The Crossover 1060. Big Showtime, Marlon Jones, Big Pimpin'. What's going on, man?
Hey,
how was your week?
Hey, the week was good. You know, we got looking forward to the show because we got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about.
We absolutely do.
It was real fun, watching the D-backs all week. It was just incredible.
Yeah. I was gonna say if you're a baseball fan, in particular, if you're a Diamondbacks fan, you got a lot to gloat over and a lot to be excited about. Speaking of that, we're gonna go ahead and hook you guys up with a little bit of this opening buzz for you.
And now it's time for the opening buzz.
Describe what this moment is to you personally.
It's almost indescribable. Here we are standing on a celebratory field, and there's been so much hard work that's gone into this. I am so grateful to be a part of this organization and to celebrate with these fans, to celebrate with this group, this ownership. I couldn't be more thrilled, and I haven't yet grasped how I'm feeling right now. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to go on a bender, I'm telling you. I might disappear for 24 hours. I know that's for sure. I might go underground for a little while.
That was your skipper, Torey Lovello, the manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks that are going on to the NLCS for the first time since 2007. And as some tells me, Torey Lovello's been probably drinking a hell of a whole lot lately these last week and a half or so, man.
You can't blame him. He's probably going, what is going on? I'm supposed to be home by now.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be on vacation. I've had to postpone 2 trips now.
Yeah. He's yet to go fishing, man.
No.
He and his crew are yet to go fishing. Like I said, his first time since 2007. It's the last time the Diamondbacks made it to the NLCS. I know you remember the team that they lost to, right?
No.
The Colorado Rockies.
Oh, the Rockies, yeah.
Yes, they lost to the Colorado Rockies,
Rockies,
who went on to the World Series and faced the Boston Red Sox and got swept.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Yeah, I do.
But it's been a minute since the Diamondbacks have been this good. I remember last time they made to the playoffs, or actually when you and I were really just kicking in radio, just starting this thing up back in 2017, which is when they won the wild card game against the Colorado Rockies and then wound up losing to the Dodgers, and that series back in 2017. But there's been a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz going on with the D-backs, and kudos to them for what they've done. I didn't expect them to certainly be where they're at, and I know you didn't either.
They haven't lost a game.
No, they're undefeated.
They're undefeated right now in the playoffs.
And right now, I think you have to say the catalyst of the success has been their pitching.
Oh, yeah.
Merrill Kelly, he finally broke that bugaboo that he had against the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think he lost like 11 consecutive starts.
Oh, he broke
the Los
it.
Angeles Dodgers. But, and Clayton Kershaw, he got absolutely wrecked by the Diamondbacks in the first inning. He didn't last but a third of an inning.
A third.
He got one out. And, the bats, they lit him up. That first game, they were pivotal, giving Merrill Kelly enough, more than enough of a comfort zone for him to go ahead and to complete to put in a complete game and finished off with the victory. And then the next game they had Zach Gallen, and Zach Gallen has been doing Zach Gallen-like things.
Gallen was on fire. I was a little worried, though. I think it was the 6th inning they brought in the lefty, and he kind of, brought some attention to the game, walking some batters. And I think, didn't he load the bases up? Or I know the Dodgers left a lot stranded.
Yeah. They've had some issues this playoffs, but they did a good job. You look at the past series against the Milwaukee Brewers. That was really like very tenuous. It was very up and down. You'd have innings where the Milwaukee Brewers would have 2, 3 on base, but they would figure out ways to go ahead and to neutralize them and prevent them from scoring points. Then they got points when they needed to. And this Dodgers series, compared to the Milwaukee series, it was relatively easy for the Diamondbacks. Fairly easy work. Yeah,
it was very surprising. Facing a team with with Betts and Freeman and to dominate.
Right.
It wasn't like, it was a close game and a lot of strategies involved. It was pure domination.
Yeah.
All 3 games. And it's just very surprising, We know what the Dodgers have done this year, won the division again.
Over 100 wins. Yeah. Arguably the second best team, the second best record in Major League, in the National League.
Yeah, second best record in the National League. Yeah. Favorite to go to the pennant with Atlanta. It's supposed to be Atlanta and the Dodgers right now.
It was supposed to be Atlanta and Dodgers.
Supposed to be.
You see the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Philadelphia Phillies, and we'll talk about the Phillies certainly, in the segment or so coming up. But Torey Lovullo, he talked about the moment that he felt that the Diamondbacks were a legitimate contender going in towards the close of the season. And I mentioned this as well, previous weeks. But this is what Torey Lovullo had to say in the post-game interview.
Torey, Chris Young here, man. Good to see you. Congratulations once again on making it to the championship series. Seeing you guys ball out this year, was there a moment this season, because it's clear as day that you guys have that it factor. Was there a series this year, a game this year, that you realized sitting in the dugout that we have it?
I felt like the Detroit series, we went into Detroit and swept the 4-game series. I felt really good about what we were able to do. It wasn't an easy series, and anytime you go on the road and you're young, you're curious about what your team's going to do. And they answered that call, and then we went and had a really good run after that. But for me, it was a Chicago series in Chicago, followed up by the Chicago Cubs series back at Chase. We won 6 of 7 games against them in the middle of a pennant race. That's when I feel like this team really grew up.
Yeah, that was a series that we talked about. I put emphasis on because you're talking about a series. You're talking about 7 games with one series in between. I think it was it San Francisco or somebody like that in between, and it was they were coming down towards the stretch end, the tail end of the regular season. They absolutely needed to win those series. They go in Chicago and they sweep them.
Yeah,
they win all 4 of those games, and then they almost sweep them when they come back to Chase Field. They won 2 out of 3, and that really set them apart, and that gave them enough cushion against Chicago Cubs. And ultimately, Chicago Cubs wound up stumbling just enough to where they fell out of playoff contention completely. The Diamondbacks wound up in 3rd position, the wild card, just a little bit below the Miami Marlins, but they got into the postseason. And once they got into the postseason, we've seen what they've done in the postseason. They've been absolutely phenomenal.
And they're a dangerous team, too, because obviously they're getting hot at the right time. But you have a team that, first of all, they're young. They really don't know any better.
Right.
They've been told since the beginning of the season, it's going to be a bad year for you guys. You guys are going to be horrible. You're a year or 2 away.
Right.
Whatever. And they're like, well, here we are. Here we are. What's up? What's happening? And, we're going to go out there and I think one of the players has said it a couple times too. Playing with house money. They're literally have nothing to lose because they weren't supposed to be here, and that's a dangerous team to face in the playoffs. It's a team that feels like they have nothing to lose, and they're super hot. Their pitching is on fire. Those bats are ridiculous.
The bats been absolutely lights out. We're talking about a team that they struggled throughout most of the season up until the tail end of the season. They really struggled. They're plus minus when it came to points. Points scored versus points scored against them. They're on the negative side pretty much throughout the entire season. Right. I think even towards the end of the regular season, they faced the Astros in 3-game series. The Astros swept them, but by then they had pretty much secured themselves a playoff spot. But they were on the negative side, the plus minus side, as far as the point differential. So it's pretty impressive to see them do what they've done offensively over these last couple weeks. These first 2 series. Playoffs, and it kind of leaves you it leaves me thinking, what the hell? Kind of throw everything that I've seen, everything up to this point, throw it out the window.
Absolutely. That regular season stuff that you and I talked about leading up to the playoffs, where we felt that it would be a long shot for them to make it. They probably wouldn't. They're right there on the cusp, but from what we saw at that point, how they were playing. This is before the Cubs series, before the Detroit series, and we knew those games were coming up and what they had to do. And at that point, we felt like that's a tough bridge to cross for them. And man, they sprinted across that bridge, blew it up, are here, and they're just killing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I wanted to touch in on one of the catalysts, or what Torey Lovullo in his post-game interview when they swept the Dodgers, his catalyst, or who he says is his unsung hero, as far as like one of the people that are instrumental in the Diamondbacks, their resurgence or their turnaround. This is what he had to say.
Sorry, it's Dan Plesac. I don't want to talk about one of your players. I want to talk about one of your coaches, your pitching coach, Brett Strom. I've watched him towards the end of the year and during these postseason games. I've seen him go out there with that look where he's like, hey, let's go, let's start throwing strikes. And I've seen that look where he's put his arm around a guy saying, okay, I need you. Can you tell me how important he's been for the development of your pitchers?
Well, if you look at it, right, in 2 years, we've turned this thing completely around. It's a 110 loss to go into the NLCS. And without Brent Strom's instruction, guidance, and, his leadership in that role, we would have no model to follow. And there is tough love with him. There is a pat on the butt with him. He's very versatile. He understands what he's trying to get to with his pitcher, but he's very intense and he cares. That's the biggest thing about Stromy, is he cares about his boys and he goes out there to work with them every single day.
He's done an absolutely phenomenal job. Brett Strom has done a phenomenal job as far as the pitching coach, especially with Merrill Kelly and with Zach Gallen and some of the other the pitchers. We'll talk about Brandon Path, a little bit later on in the show. But he's done a phenomenal job with them. He's done a great job with the bullpen closer with Sewell. They've really come together and gelled at the right moment.
Yeah, they really have. And Game 3 was crucial with Path going on the mound. That was kind of like, all right, that might be the game the Dodgers take. He's young. Excuse me, he's young, put him on the mound. Let's hope we can get a couple innings out of him. But, of course, we saw what happened with the 4 straight home runs. He had that cushion. Now all of a sudden he's confident. He's like, I can just pitch the pitch. I got 4-run lead. So
just have fun.
Just have fun with it.
Go out there on that mound and just do your thing. And I think that's one of the things that the Diamondbacks have certainly done to help themselves, is to sustainably get themselves a nice cushion and then let the pitchers go ahead and do the rest.
Yep.
All right, we got ourselves an exciting show today. Coming up next, we're going to continue to talk Diamondbacks as we dive into D-backs' upcoming matchup in the NLCS versus the Philadelphia Phillies. Don't go nowhere. You're tuned in to The Crossover, KDUS 1060.